123 123, welcome to another video. Let's try this format. Why not, right? I've been telling stories for the past 3 years, and in the beginning you hated my voice, but I guess now you can see my face. So I want to try a different format, and in this video, this is my first video where I'm showing my face, like I already said. And the first post that I'm going to read off of Reddit is, am I the a-hole for going no contact after dad took himself out of my wedding? This is going to be interesting. Buckle up, kids. This is long, a doozy, and my first ever Reddit post. I want to preface this by saying that my father and I have had a very rocky relationship, to the point where I up and left at the age of 18 and have been on my own ever since. I, 33 female, got engaged to my 34 male fiance in September 2025. Our engagement was wonderful. He took me out to where they filmed Jurassic Park 2, Fern Canyon. Of course, I said yes with the utmost enthusiasm. After the proposal, we got down to an area with some reception and we started to call people to update them on our engagement. And of course, we called my parents first. My mom was happy about the news. My dad, not so much. He reacted the way someone would react to news about getting their weekly scheduled package from Amazon. Okay. That was disheartening, to say the least. Come to find out later, he was upset that my fiancé did not propose the way my father told him to. My dad wanted my fiancé to propose to me in front of the entire family. Not at all what I wanted, and glad it was an intimate proposal with our husky by our side in one of the most beautiful and magical places. Fast forward to looking at venues. After we've seen a few, we decided to bring my parents and fiance's parents to look at the top venues we enjoyed. After the last venue was toured, my parents, being Catholic Latinos, asked if we had a priest that would marry us. Being that we do not consider ourselves Catholic and my fiancé was raised somewhat a modern Jew, we decided to have my cousin and his cousin both come to officiate our non-denominational wedding. We thought it was perfect to have someone from each of our families to join us together. Also, we thought it would be appropriate since my fiancé officiated his cousin's wedding. This denominational wedding was problem number 1. Dad asked us what the date was for the wedding, and we told him that we wanted Friday the 13th. Reason being that fiancé's birthday is on the 13th, he proposed to me on the 13th, and his favorite horror character is Jason Voorhees. He has quite a few Jason-inspired tattoos. So, of course, we were going to have our wedding on Friday the 13th. This was problem number 2. Dad did not want our wedding to be on a Friday because he wanted us to accommodate our guests and make it convenient for them. Dad stormed off pissed about those two things. Okay, the following day, I get a message from my mom asking me for my future mother-in-law's number. I thought, okay, they probably want to just have each other's info and nothing serious. Boy, I was wrong. Come to find out, my parents went behind our back to meet and talk to fiancé's family to convince them that a Friday wedding with no priest was unacceptable. To get them on their side to persuade us to change our date and to have a priest. We, of course, were livid that they would do that. A couple of days later, we had both sets of parents over, as well as my brother, 27, for dinner to discuss wedding plans. They continued to insist that since my dad was going to front $10,000 for my wedding, that he should have a say in the date, the guests, and the priest. I felt pressured my parents to agree to changing it to the 14th instead, and to get a priest to bless us rather than being married in a church like my dad originally wanted. I agreed just to keep the peace and not to stir the pot, not because this is something I wanted. A couple of weeks passed by, and my parents hit me with the news that a blessing is not possible by a priest, that we now have to go on a retreat, taking these Catholic-y classes, passing their religious tests, which included getting married by a priest that is not on our wedding date. It was so not what I signed up for or agreed to. I tried to tell my parents that this is not what we wanted, and they told me, I was raised Catholic and you will be married by a Catholic priest. To recap, they want me to get married by a priest, have our official marriage by the court on the 13th, and another wedding on the 14th to be officiated by our cousins. Insert WTF emoji. As much as I love this man, I'm not getting married 3 different times in less than 10 months to accommodate my parents' demands. Fast forward to December. My fiance and I have thought about the pickle we were in for weeks now. It did not sit well with me, and it did not seem fair that this wedding seems more like adhering to my parents' demands rather than having and making our wedding special to us. We decided to take my parents out for dinner to help ease the news that we decided to have our original wedding date back on track. We had a good time talking during dinner, and Dad talked about how long his day was since he had to drive from his home in the valley to downtown LA in the morning for a graduation. After dinner, as we were making our way towards the exit, I told my parents that we would be having our wedding on the 13th instead of the 14th. Needless to say, they were pissed. Dad kept bringing up the fact that no one has a Friday wedding. No one will call out of work to go to a Friday wedding. No one will show up, and that we were being selfish and inconsiderate. He also mentioned the amount of traffic that he endured that day to go to a graduation that took hours to get to. We responded with respectful telling him that the people that really want to and are able to go will make time to attend our wedding. If they do not go to the wedding, then that's okay too. But the invitations will be sent out months in advance. Dad continued to escalate in tone, volume, and anger. When we would not give in to his demands, he finally yelled, "Give me a reason not to go. Give me a effing reason not to go." Okay. My fiance responded with, "It's not a graduation, it's your daughter's wedding." Dad proceeded to storm off while my mom stayed, apologized, hugged and gave us a kiss on the cheek goodbye, and left after my dad. Needless to say, I broke down crying in the car. The next morning, he sent me an email. His email basically said how heartbroken they are and disappointed with my decision going against their traditional expectations of what a wedding should be. One part of the email that broke me was, "We're not making your party at our discretion and are trying to stay out of it as much as possible." I can try to attach screenshots of the email if requested, but it's a painful one for me to read. A couple of weeks later, week of Christmas, I messaged my brother to let him know that I got my parents gifts and wanted to drop them off, say Merry Christmas and leave. We did not want to stay after my dad's outburst and storming off, but I still respect them enough to have gotten a thoughtful and a customized gift that we spent the entire night sanding and staining. It's a wooden 2-layer box that holds watches, glasses, rings, etc. I got my mom a brand new set of Martha Stewart kitchen knives on a block because their knives were dull as hell. My brother came over to our house and told me that my parents did not want my gifts and that they did not want us to come by, nor did they get us anything for Christmas. While my brother was at our house, we exchanged gifts, had a couple of drinks, and I let my brother know that the only way I will have a conversation with my parents is if there is an unbiased third party, and I told him that my therapist would be a perfect person for that due to my dad's inability to control his anger and outbursts. After that, he left to go back to my parents' house once he walked out the door. I broke down completely. I felt as though my parents had disowned me, all over a wedding date. I couldn't stop crying and ended up at my future mother-in-law's house, and I cried in her arms. She hugged me and told me that this is a huge sign to go no contact with my family. I ended up spending Christmas at my mother-in-law's home, even though it felt as though my heart had been ripped to shreds. At this point, New Year's had passed. No word from my parents. Yesterday, my brother had messaged me asking to come over. He came in and jokingly said, "You have been evicted." meaning my parents had packed all my things from my old room and sent my brother to my house with it. My parents packed everything: my ultrasound pictures, my baby photos, baby blanket from the hospital, school photos, baptism dress, communion dress, shoes, prom, sweet 16, all 3 graduation gowns, and so many more things that documented my first days of life. I previously thought that my heart was broken before, but this was on a whole other level. To me, it seemed like they erased my existence completely. This is the most petty and cruel thing I've ever seen my parents do. At this point, I was done with them. After talking to my brother, he had let me know a couple of interesting things. 1. He claims that my parents had manipulated my words and told my brother that I uninvited my parents to the wedding, which, after hearing this absolute most BS statement, I was livid. I never ever said that. 2. They had refused a proposal to have a conversation with a therapist present. To me, my father has been manipulative, has no sense of accountability, and the most petty MF I've ever had the pleasure of having in my life. So, am I the a-hole for leaning toward a no-contact relationship with my parents and possibly not have them at my wedding? Whew, quite a story, okay. To start off, I think the father has some issues, okay? They already had a very rocky relationship, right? So, to the point where she up and left at the age of 18 and have been on her own ever since. That's basically like what? She's 33. That is, that's almost 15 years. So for 15 years, she's been on her own. And now, all of a sudden, dad wants to organize and, configure her wedding. I don't think it's fair. With all due respect, yes, you are a father, but you don't have any rights to dictate how her wedding should go. So first off, right off the bat, I have to say you're not the a-hole, okay? You can do whatever you want. I think your dad has some issues. I think he needs to get some help, mental help. And I don't know, maybe he's too old. I mean, if he's too old, he's still your father. Like you said, you really want to, you were heartbroken, right? If you didn't care, you wouldn't say these things. But I feel like you have a good heart and you care about your parents. So I don't know, maybe you could try figuring out if your father has some mental issues. They gave your brother everything you owned, like your baby pictures, your ultrasound, your sweet 16 stuff. This is crazy. What kind of parent do you have to be to do that to your own child, right? In my culture, parents are very important. Parents are everything, but I don't think I would be able to say something back if my parents wanted me to have my wedding their way, which actually happened. I didn't really want to spend any money on my wedding. I just wanted to spend it on, future business that I wanted to do or travels. But they said, you are our oldest son and we want to organize a wedding and we want to have this feeling of celebrations, of organizing a wedding party, inviting all the relatives and stuff. For me, it wasn't really principled to have the wedding my way. Okay, so I agreed. I didn't say anything. I didn't object, and I don't regret anything. Okay, but definitely, if this is all it happened, then Dad, you're the problem. You're the a-hole. Come on, man. This is your baby. This is your daughter, man. I have a theory. Maybe this whole thing snowballed into this, okay? And it started with your father's future son-in-law, your fiance, not proposing in front of all the guests, right? Maybe that, kind of made it bigger, okay? Made the problem bigger. As you probably noticed, it's really hard for me to express everything in English because English is not my first language, so please, I apologize. Please forgive me. But please do like and share and comment still. And let me know if I am making any mistakes. But I'll be trying. I am trying. What else? I wanted to say something. I had this problem. When you have a big ego, okay, and some guy is going to live with your daughter, with your baby, and you deserve to be listened to be heard, and to be respected, I guess. My wife is calling, 1 second. Huh? Okay. I'll grab some bread for you, my love. Getting out soon. Don't worry. All right. My theory is this. I think father wanted his son-in-law to propose in front of everyone. I guess the father wanted to feel respected, you know. He wanted to think that his future son-in-law is going to respect him. But if you haven't been nice to your daughter all these years, I don't think your son-in-law is going to respect you. This is a very fresh post, by the way. I can read some of the comments here. Someone says, not the a-hole. So glad you have such a supportive mother-in-law and partner. By the way, mother-in-law. Oh, I completely forgot about the mother-in-law. She is just perfect character in this situation. Wish you nothing but the best, and I hope your wedding goes perfectly as you planned. Going NC seems to be best solution at this present stage. This is horrible, absolutely horrible. I'm so sorry this is happening to you. Collecting all your things like that is unreal. Your parents are being petty and intentionally cruel, going way beyond what seems reasonable, like they want you so upset that you're forced to bend to their will. Consider writing them a letter and ask your brother to deliver it. Say that what they appear to be doing is taking relationship-ending steps with you. Ask them not to make the divide between you so wide it can never be crossed. You'd love them to come to your wedding if they want to be part of your life, but you're not changing your mind. Then play it by ear, see what happens. Will they relent or will they continue to escalate? They may force you to make a decision like cut them out of your life. It's sad. People that love you are not supposed to hurt you like this. I completely agree. If you are a parent and if you have children that are in the similar situation, you shouldn't give an F of how and what it happens. They're still your children. It doesn't matter. It's not worth it. Breaking your relationship, breaking your family because of some petty stuff, come on, it's not worth it, man. They're grown-ups. They're over 30 years old. They're not children. I mean, you can't really make them believe things that you believe. It's too late now, at least. But anyways, let me know what you think. And let me know what you think about this first video where I show my face, read stuff. This is very important, okay? I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video.